story begins in darkness. There was the darkness of oppression, for God's people were a conquered people. They were a beaten and defeated people. There was the darkness of persecution. Indeed, it was a despised universal taxation that brought the participants in the story together on that fateful night. There was the darkness of disillusionment. There was an ever-increasing number who felt that the violence, not faith, was the most effective path. Yes, on that first Christmas, the mood was one of despair and resignation. And thus it was then, and thus it is now. We too live in a world of darkness. There are wars and rumors of wars, hunger, unemployment, racism, loneliness, and a sense of emptiness. Perhaps the poet Robert Frost worded it best when he wrote, "I have been acquainted with the night. I have walked in the rain and out of the rain. I have been acquainted with the night." I don't have to tell any of you about the darkness because in one form of another or another, at one time or another, it has touched the life of each person here. You have been acquainted with the night. Thus, we do not come here this evening to naively deny the existence of the darkness. Nowhere in Scripture do we receive a prep talk and an argument that things aren't really as bad as they seem. Rather, it affirms that the darkness is real and it is present. But it also affirms that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "People who walk in darkness have seen a great light." John's gospel records the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Thus we come together to sing again the words, "Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light." History records for us an interesting footnote. It was during the dark winter of 1864 at Petersburg, Virginia. The Confederate Army of Robert E. Lee faced the Union divisions of General Ulysses S. Grant. The war was now 3.5 years old, and the glorious charge had long since given way to the muck and mud of trench warfare. Late one evening, one of Lee's generals, Major General George Pickett, received word that his wife had given birth to a beautiful baby boy. Up and down the line of Southerns began building huge bonfires in celebration of the event. These fires did not go unnoticed in the northern camps, and soon a nervous Grant sent out a reconnaissance patrol to see what was going on. The scouts returned with the message that Pickett had had a son, and these were celebration fires. It so happened that Grant and Pickett had been contemporaries at West Point and knew one another well. So to honor the occasion, Grant too ordered that bonfires should be built. What a peculiar night it was. For miles on both sides of the lines, fires burned. No shots fired, no yelling back and forth, no war fought, only light, celebrating the birth of a child. But it didn't last forever. Soon the fires burned down, and once again the darkness took over. The darkness of the night, the darkness of war. The good news of Christmas is that in the midst of a deep darkness, there came a light. And the darkness was not able to overcome that light. It was not just a temporary flicker. It was an eternal flame. We need to remember that. There are times in the events of the world and in the events of our own personal lives that we feel that the light will be snuffed out. But the Christmas story affirms that whatever happens, the light still shines. The ancient Hebrews were afraid of darkness. They were particularly afraid of a place they called the outer darkness. To them, creation began when God said, "Let there be light." To them, where there was only darkness, there was only void and emptiness. What great meaning and hope it must have been for them when they heard Jesus refer to himself as the light of the world. We need to hear these words this Christmas as the families of the South Sudan Northeast Nigeria, Somalia, and Yemen suffer from hunger and malnutrition, while at the same time more than 35% of Americans are obese. We need to hear these words as the families of war-torn Israel, both Jewish and Palestinian, are overwhelmed with grief. We need to hear these words as the families of Syria and Lebanon are suffering this season. This darkness is real, but because of Christmas, it will never get so dark that you can't see the light. Into the darkness, God sent an eternal light. As you walk outside this evening, notice that the darkness does not intrude upon the light. On the contrary, it is a light that intrudes upon the darkness. Light is always stronger than darkness, and the forces of light are stronger than the forces of darkness. The greatest need in our mixed up and confused world this day is to let people know that there is hope, that life is worth living no matter what. We should not be discouraged to the point of despair. In Jesus Christ, we shall cling to the hope that life overcomes death, that love conquers hate, and that truth will prevail over falsehood. We are the people of light, and we must share that light in a dark and dreary land. Why do you think that God chose to use a star to guide the wise man to Bethlehem? Now, I'm convinced that it was not by accident. It was an eternal reminder to them and to us that in a sea of darkness, it is the light that keeps us going forward. It is the light of hope and the light of Christ that leads the way and dispels the gloom. It is my prayer that the light of Christmas will shine and enlighten the dark corners of your life, and that you too will discover the pathway to Bethlehem. Amen. So, what you like, what you not like? What do you want to keep, what do you want to get rid of? Here we go with Christmas. Christmas time. Christmas. Candlelight service. What you think of that?
It does its duty. It makes the whole environment just right.
As well as should. It's supposed to bring forth some emotions for you. And the whole theme of tonight's service was about the people that were living in darkness seeing a great light. And that great light being Jesus Christ brought into our world. Before we go any further, it was a year ago tonight, or a year ago, that a very disheveled and nervous young man and his friend had their first service of the Dallas Universal Life Church right here in this room. Remember what they say? I mean, we did it. I mean, it was a mess, but we did it, and it took a lot of bravery for all of us to step forward and become part of this church. So I want to take this time, the opportunity to thank all of you that are here, and all of you that are not here, and have been here, and those who have come and gone, and those who will be back, and because that's what made our church our church. Without each and every one of the people who have walked through the doors here, and even those who haven't, those who just sent money or sent words of encouragement, without that we wouldn't be. I'm not sure we'd still be here. And you know, that's the amazing thing to me. It's been a year since we had our first service, and there were a lot of people that said we couldn't do it. I mean, I had my doubts, but we're still here. Thank God. And I just hope that as we go forward, that we continue to grow and, spread our message to others and to more of us, and hopefully bring some joy and peace and love to people's hearts that need it. Which is kind of what Christmas is about, isn't it? It's about this baby coming out of unconditional love given to us by God. What does Christmas mean to you? What does Christmas mean? Well, Santa Claus, reindeer, sleigh rides, snow. Not usually in Texas, but
We were a couple days off on the rain and the
Yeah.
freezing.
so cold out there. So cold. I mean, I've lived in Texas all my life, for the most part.
I think maybe 2 times it snowed in my lifetime on Christmas, or once.
It's either, you know, I've had to be almost 100 degrees, and I've had to be in, you know, 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Christmas one year, we were driving to Mass, and there was nobody on the road because it was an ice storm. We had an ice storm. Nobody had electricity. Nobody had anything, you know. So there's an image. I'm sorry. There's an image in my head. It was actually a horrible thing that happened that day. On our way back from Mass, somebody had forgotten to take their dog in,
Oh.
and you could see through their chain link fence, and the dog was dead back there, frozen. And so the image is just stuck in my head from when I was a young boy. Yeah, Christmas Day. That kind of ruined Christmas that day. I bawled. Please, if you, it's cold outside, take care of your pets. I know those people had to be devastated when they got home, and
Or you'd hope at least.
I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. I just can't imagine. So anyway,
Quit with the feels.
I know that's what it's about. It's about feeling. So I'm going to take a little path down back to a year ago, and we're going to talk a little bit, kind of reiterate some of that sermon that I gave off the cuff last time. And it's a little different now. I mean, I wish I had time to memorize all my sermons like I should. Unfortunately, I don't have time, so sometimes we use teleprompters. But then we didn't have teleprompters. We just had me standing up there going, and you have notes. But I remember saying that Christmas, through all the hustle and bustle and the retail humbo jumbo and all the commercials and ads and everything else, Christmas is, it's not about getting. It's not about, you know, I want that. Give me that. How much of that can I have? Give me more. It's about the gifting. It's not about getting. It's about gifting. Because when we truly give something, a gift to somebody, I mean truly gives a gift, and without expecting anything in return, because that's what a gift is. It's giving something without expecting anything in return. That's what a gift is. If you expect something in return, that's a contract.
Yeah.
It's not a gift. Unconditional. Nothing. I'm giving this to you. It's yours. I'm not going to tell you you have to give it back in a week. When we do that, and we watch this person open this gift in front of us, and you see their eyes light up, it gives you an incredible sense of joy, and just your heart just bursts with emotion, just love and happiness, and all those wonderful things that we want to experience on Christmas Day. And there are a lot of people on Christmas that don't ever experience that. Don't experience love and hope. Some people, it's just another day. Some people, it's a day of sadness, loneliness. Even reminded by that by, you know, the fact that Jesus Christ was born in a stable, for God's sake. I mean, here they are, going through this town trying to find a place. I mean, Mary's 9 months pregnant; she's about to bust, right? And Joseph is doing everything he can. Yeah, I mean, to find her a place to have this baby. I mean, first of all, let's talk about Joseph. You know, here's this man who, I mean, he just to fathom it all.
You are not the father.
Right? I mean, somebody said before, Jerry Springer. It's a Jerry Springer kind of thing. You know, here's his 13-year-old fiance, they're supposed to be, you know, just engaged, and in those times you didn't mess around. You didn't do that.
Probably
And
didn't
here she is,
touch.
they're not even married, and she's pregnant. And he loves her so much that he believes the fact that she says, God did it. God did it. Now, today, would that happen?
It's hard to believe it would.
It's hard to believe it happened then, but if it did, wow, what a man.
So he was either really, really naive, or it was the truth. Thank God it was the truth.
Yeah.
So he loves her. He's trying to find her a place to have this baby. They're in the town of Bethlehem. They're looking in a small town, but it's just packed with people. Just the time, kind of like Christmas time. Things going on everywhere. Bustle and bustle and this and that. No rooms. This and that. Couldn't find a room at the inn. So what does he do? Oh, well, I mean, what do you do? He finds a stable, a parking lot, something, a mall bathroom, someplace. Think about it.
Well, it's like being at North Park Mall trying to
Try to have a baby.
In a ice storm.
What do you do? What do you do? I mean, the baby's going to come.
park it at Williams-Sonoma and
Baby
build up a
came.
pile of towels.
Thank God.
Amen.
So, he gets a stable. It's a place. It's got a roof over the top. So how many times do we forget that Jesus Christ was born into poverty that way, in a stable? And we forget to look down those dark alleys and the obscure little areas of our city and see those who don't have what we have, and are poor, and are lonely, and are without. I see you listening to me. How many times we forget to give and think only about getting?
More often than not.
Too much.
Mm-hmm.
So what does Christmas mean to you? I mean, talk to me. I want to hear you. It's time for your turn to talk. Tell me about what Christmas means. I mean, come on. Anything you want to say. Let's talk about it. What does Christmas mean to you?
Family.
Family. Okay. What's different at Christmas than any other day? Family's always around, right?
Not always, not all of them.
It's nice to have everybody come together.
Especially if some aren't there now.
The atmosphere, just people in general, the feeling of everybody is.
How is that though? Is it?
It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah. I think it is.
Well, for my family, like this past year was totally different because all of my siblings were all getting to a similar maturity now, where it's not kids.
Right.
We can all have our little powwow now. And
It's funny when you have the kids' table and it's all adults sitting there. You know, as I grew up, I was the oldest grandchild of the family, right? So, as I grew up, here I am, probably in my 20s, sitting at a table with the young teenagers and even younger, and it's just kind of strange. But they put me at the adult table one year, and I hated it. It was just
stiff.
Yeah, just boring. Back over there. I moved back to the other table. Somebody else take my seat. Family. Why family? Why do you think family is so important on Christmas Day? Why do you think we celebrate that?
Well, a new family was born that day.
A new family was born that day. That's important to remember. I said something a couple weeks ago. I mean, imagine, if you can just close your eyes for me, just imagine. There's this family, this young family in a stable in a small little town of Bethlehem. And this newborn baby is being held by his mother. And he's just, just kind of laying there, just his arms just kind of shaking about, and his head kind of just wobbling about, and he's just smiling and cooing. And the look on his mother and father's face of complete awe and joy and love for this child that they brought into the world. And that's just because it's their child. Not because it's Jesus Christ, the Savior of the universe. Right? Add that on top of it. Wow. Add that on top of it. You just gave birth to the King of Kings. To the person who's going to save everybody.
Did they already know it?
She knew. She knew, but she didn't talk about it. She didn't brag about it. That was the whole thing about Mary. That's one of the things that we talked about today is, she pondered these things, it says. So what that means is she kept it to herself. She said, that's not really my place to go out there and talk about that. You'll do fine. I think he did.
Well, then as a mother, you have to think and worry about what dangers they might encounter.
Well, I mean, they would probably call her a witch or who knows what, or do horrible things to her.
You think about that today if that happened. I mean, I talked about this Easter. You know, if Jesus Christ came back today and did the things he did then, what would we say? We'd be like, okay, where's the strings? Where's the mirrors? You know.
What's
and,
in it? You know.
and who is this man? This man is blasphemous. You know, he's crazy. Put him in Parkland. Right? Wouldn't we? I mean, I, like I said, I can't imagine that I today would not say that same thing.
Yeah.
If it was Jesus Christ standing before me and performing miracles and telling me he's the Son of God,
Giving all this money, all this time and stuff to all these weird poor people.
right?
And
I'd be like, dude, get a life. You know?
Yeah.
well, think about the Republicans. They would outcast someone like that.
I think everybody would. I think everybody would. I think the Democrats would too. I
You
mean,
know, find them weird.
It's an amazing thing to think about. I mean, it's something that obviously doesn't happen every day.
Right.
It's hard to believe. And it's
That's what
easier
faith
for us
is.
to believe now, I think. Even though the fact we didn't see him, I still think it's easier to believe. Because we've been told this story through time. And our forefathers believed it. And so when we're brought up, it's just what you believe. But the point is, do you continue to believe it as you become an adult?
Or do you question it? Yeah.
Or do you question it? And you know what? If you don't question it, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You should question it.
You have no good sense if you don't.
You should. You should question it. Then you have to do that inner soul searching.
And that can just build up the faith that you have from that point.
You can either build it up or completely tear it down. I hope it's the first of those two things.
Yeah. Is it going up or going
I
down?
mean, I've been there. I have. I mean, I've been there. I've been. God, why? You know, it's not my place to know why sometimes. So, I always try to think about, you know, the Bible doesn't go into much about Jesus' childhood, just a little bit. What that would be like. You're the Son of God.
As a 6-year-old or a
As
13
a 2-year-old.
13-year-old coming into teenage years.
As a 2-year-old. Can you imagine Mary and Joseph teaching God how to read and write?
It's weird.
Well, he already knew how.
Well, no, he didn't know how. He was a human.
It was a human.
He
You know.
was human. He didn't know how.
That is weird.
Teaching him the Torah.
Yeah, because he was Jewish.
He was Jewish. So what does Christmas mean to you? What else besides family? Let's talk about that. Tim, you're being too quiet. Talk to me. Tim and I both, and as sure as everybody else, had lost our mothers not too long ago. Well, it's been a while for me, not quite as long for Tim. And that's Christmas time, Easter time, the holidays. It's tough. It's tough. But,
Well, my grandfather in 09.
right, your grandfather. Again, it's tough not to be without those who've become accustomed to being with us. They're the ones we love. The point that I'm trying to make here is that they are still here. They're in your thoughts. They're in your hearts. And in my belief, I believe they're around us. I believe that they touch us. I believe, you know, I told you about my mother. I mean, she's crazy. She throws things at me and types her name on my phone.
Our house pops and creaks and whatnot.
I think if you kind of listen, and I don't mean with your ears, if you listen the same way you listen when you pray, your heart, your soul, you'll see that they are here and that they're where they need to be now. And that they'll help us get to where we need to be. That's the whole point. What's that whole point of life? The whole point of life is, well, we're here to worship and honor God. We're here to love and worship God. That's what we're here for. And the reason we do that is we want to go to heaven.
You want to go home.
Life is very simple. Life is very simple. It's just not easy. It's not easy to just. My duty here is to love and worship God. Well, do I do that every day? You should do that every second of your life. But do we? Hell no. We're sinners. So Tim, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go
No,
ahead.
I don't really.
You want to talk today?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Next Saturday, it's Sunday, will be, we're going to have a regular service at 3 o'clock. And then I decided, I don't know if many people are coming or not, but we're going to do a little New Year's Eve, just a celebration, just something for people who didn't have a place to go, no parties to go to or whatever, just want to come be with your friends here at the church. you know, it's crazy out there on the roads, and I don't like being out there. And it's just, I mean, I guess I'm getting older because I can't imagine being. There's just crazy people out there,
Especially here in Dallas.
The cops are just as crazy.
and the cops are just as crazy. You know, it's just nuts. I don't want to be
Two-
involved in
two
it.
ways of bad luck.
So what we've done is starting at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. We're gonna have a little gathering here, and it's just gonna be, you know, just hanging out. We're just gonna hang out,
That dog is
talk.
open. It's gonna make it freezing here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just the oven's still going, so it's not gonna be freezing yet. We're gonna just hang out, talk, maybe play some games. You know, whatever you want to do, we're just gonna go with it.
Goof off.
The only thing I've asked is if the ticket, you buy a ticket. The ticket is through Eventbrite.
Yeah.
And we're asking for a minimum of a $10 donation. Now, what does that include? Well, all of that money goes directly back to the church. What we're doing is we're gonna have a small champagne toast at midnight that we provided, and then also you'll have a small breakfast in the morning. The only thing we ask is you do not leave before sunrise. Okay? If you're gonna be drinking, you're welcome to. You can bring your own alcohol if you'd like. I ask that you don't overdo it. Please.
For the
I ask
love
that you
of God.
behave yourselves, okay? And just remember that this is a church function, so you gotta have a little bit of decorum. A little bit, you know, you have to have fun, but have a little bit of decorum. I mean, Jesus, God doesn't want us to be, you know, stiff-necked and boring all our lives. He did put some fun things out here for us to do. So you get together. If you think about it, if you want to come. Go to the in the bulletin. There's the website. How to sign up for a ticket. It's a minimum of $10. You get, like I said, a champagne toast, and you'll get breakfast in the morning before you leave. Okay, it should be fun. $10. You can't beat that. I mean,